on the northwest London, Hertfordshire border. Hope all is good with you. You're a nice signal. 5 and 9, no problem here. And I hope all is well in Bognor Regis. Mike 0, X-Ray Charlie Zulu. Mike 0, India, Charlie Romeo.
Yeah, all copies, Carl. No problem at all. 5 and 9 plus 15 to 20 dB on the peak. I think we've had a few QSOs over the years, but not for 12 months, so good to meet up with you after 12 months. Setup is probably the same, 100 watts of the Icon 7300 and a half size G5RD. I was just looking back at my notes to see one of the QSOs a couple of years ago you were highly recommending 6 metres, which, as I'm sure you know, the radio will do, but I haven't really got an antenna dedicated to it. But it's always at the back of my mind to have a play around with 6 metres, so I wonder if you have been recently, and whether it's worth me giving it more consideration. Back to you, Mike 0, India Charlie Romeo, Mike 0, X-Ray Charlie Zulu.
Yeah, Mike 0, X-Ray Charlie Zulu, Mike 0, India Charlie Romeo returning. Well, yes, I still enjoy 6 metres, and certainly a 7300 would be fine for that. But it's a funny band, you know, it's very affected by conditions, and particularly annually, sporadic E. And we're out of that season now. The sporadic E season really runs from sort of early June through August. And, you know, sometimes it extends a little bit either side of that, but essentially June, July and August is when you get the sporadic E propagation. And that's when the good DX is about. But, you know, like any band, you can have surprises and things can pop up and you get extraordinary methods of propagation. But I have to admit, outside the summer, it's not quite so busy, apart from the various RSGB contests that are run on 6 metres and UK 6 metre group contests and so on. If you're interested in those, there's always activity. There's sometimes a bit of a sporadic E flare-up in December as well, but the real time to try 6 metres, if you're interested in DX, certainly is over the summer months from M0 ICR.
Yeah, thanks for that. So I've missed it for this year, but just out of interest, do you have dedicated Yagi type aerial to 6 metres, or do you use a multi-band? Back to you.
Yeah, so well, I do have a dedicated beam for 6 metres. I have a 5-element beam for 6 metres. It's about maybe 5 metres long. But you don't need anything as grand as that, you know. A wire antenna will work, a dipole, or even a vertical. A very good antenna that's easy to build, you know, or to purchase and takes up very little real estate is a Moxon. A 6 metre Moxon is certainly worth looking up. Quite easy to make, actually. You can make one with an X-frame, you know, a couple of tent poles or whatever, and they work effectively well as a beam. And as I said, take up very little real estate, only about 2 metres wide. It's essentially a 2-element beam with the elements bent in towards each other, but in a sort of rectangular shape. But a lot of people do well on 6 metres, particularly during sporadic E with multiband verticals. You know, you can buy these 62 and 70 verticals, or indeed just a simple 6 metre dipole. Well, when the band's open, you know, the saying is you can work the world in a piece of wet string. It's not quite as easy as that, but a dipole, you know, even a dipole will work well. And even if you find, you know, you've got something like a multi-band doublet, then that may well tune up and give you some decent QSO. But if you're looking for something small that's better than a simple wire antenna without going the full hog to, you know, a full-size Yagi, then have a look at a Moxon, Mark. M0 XCZ M0 ICR.
Yeah, all copies, Carl. Been making some notes. Yeah, I'll be sure to do that. As I said, I'm using a half-size G5RD. Now, theoretically, I can tune it to 6 metres, and I have tried it on FTA, which I think I've had a couple of contacts, but even sort of localish ones, the reports are sort of, you know, minus 15 dB, so I'm sure it's highly inefficient because certainly not designed for 6 metres. But no, I'll do that. I endlessly think I ought to try more things on amateur radio. Slowly I'm doing, but I think most of my time I'm either rag chewing on 40 metres or FT8 on 10 and 20 metres. I'm trying to do more sideband on 10 metres. I think the band's probably better than it seems a lot of the time. It's just no one's calling CQ. So the last few weeks I've tried just randomly at different times of the day, or during daylight anyway, tried sticking out CQ calls on 10 metres. And it is surprising, just occasionally on a dead band I've had someone come back from Brazil. I think that's probably the furthest, but I do think, particularly with waterfall charts, there's a danger we all sit there looking at waterfall charts with nothing on it, thinking the band's dead. It's surprising when you get a competition weekend how 10 metres in particular can suddenly come alive. Anyway, that's me rattling on, but thanks for the ideas, Carl. I will have a look at Mobson, albeit sort of out of season for 6 metres, and see what it looks like. Mike Zero, Italy Charlie Romeo, Mike Zero X-Ray Charlie Zulu.
Yeah, M0XCZ, M0ICR with the final. Well, the final thing I'd recommend to you, Mark, is have a look at WebSDR to see how you're getting out. I find that really, really useful, particularly on what's supposedly a dead band. If you just type in WebSDR onto Google, you'll find lots of sites that will list them all around the world, and you can listen to what you sound like in those places. And I find that quite revealing. There's one I use in Washington, USA, Washington, D.C., and it's quite interesting to put out a CQ call and nobody's coming back, but you listen to yourself in Washington, D.C., for example, and, you're a 5-9 signal. So it's not that there's no propagation, it's just that stations aren't on. So that's quite an interesting thing to tinker with, listening to yourself, how you're being received around the world, particularly when a band seems dead, but actually it isn't. And I think there's a bit of a vicious circle there, we're all guilty of it. A band's dead, so nobody puts out a call, and that just perpetuates it. It's kind of downward cycle, so I think you're right, and, as you've said, you've proved that yourself, that sometimes on what's supposedly a dead band, you put out a CQ call, and lo and behold, there are stations there, but everybody's waiting for somebody else to call CQ, and consequently, the band sounds dead. Okay, Mark, well, I'll let you go. I'm going to go put the kettle on, and then have a tune around the band, but nice to hear you on 7140. And we'll, with that, wish you 7-3. Good rest of the weekend, and hope it won't be another year before we speak. And next time we do, hopefully you can tell me all about your exploits on 6 metres. Mike Zero, X-Ray Charlie Zulu, M0ICR, wishing you 7-3 and a good weekend. Bye-bye.
Yeah, many thanks. I'm full of good intentions, and actually doing more on WebSDRs is something else. I do use the software packages on ST8 and Whisper occasionally and things like that, and it is, I still think it's to me anyway, it's the heart of amateur radio. It's just the magic that something that's got the power of an old electric light bulb, you can have a two-way conversation with someone in Australia. But good to meet up, Carl. Look forward to the next time. Have a great weekend. Mike Zero, India Charlie Romeo from Mike Zero X-Ray Charlie Zulu saying 7-3. Cheerio.
Yeah, very good indeed, and I think there's an Italian station moved onto the frequency, so good luck with that, and hopefully you can manage to maintain this one. We'll wish you 7-3, all the best, and have a great weekend. M0ICR now clear, and QSY to the kitchen. Cheers!
7-3, all the best.